unless you're prepared to squat,
Yeah.
if it accidentally happens, then you're like,
Yeah. Forget in your family. The TV's on and something comes on, channels change.
Everyone's
Exactly.
channels
Everyone's
change.
like, oh,
Kids
wait.
are. I used to be told to do this.
yeah.
We learn the word rape before we learn the word orgasm. Right? Like,
Whoa.
The conversation we were having earlier about pleasure made me think about something like now My Muse is a organization. We're in the business of selling various sexual health products, sexual wellness products, and part of that is massages. And when I was leaving my previous organization to join My Muse, I had a conversation with an ex-colleague. She was married and she was talking about, I don't know if this product is going to work in India because I can't imagine my partner ever being comfortable with me having this product. It would make them feel too insecure. So, and we found that to be a common theme in our feedback with consumers when we talk to consumers about, their approach to buying these products. What are the barriers to, trying this out? A lot of the time it's, I don't know how okay my partner would be with this, and I fear insulting them or hurting them.
Yeah.
Why do men or just partners in general have this aversion to, if there's an ancillary product that enters the equation that can help improve my partner's experience, that's somehow
An
a
attack on me.
negative, an attack on me. Yes.
Yeah,
Why what's the psychology behind that? Do we have any
yeah.
understanding of it?
I mean, I can just tell you based on things I've heard from other people, right? Like, I think there's a misconception and it is gendered. Like, a lot of times there is like this pleasure gap that's been well documented that, like, in heterosexual relationships, the cis women are experiencing less orgasms than men. Not to say that they're like not enjoying or whatever, but like this is what the data shows, right? Which can be indicative that they're not enjoying to the same degree or with the same consistency. And I think what ends up happening is that with pleasure products and stuff, a lot of people go like, okay, then why does she need me?
Exactly.
Why does she need me if I'm like, are you just your penis? Is that it? Is that where this relationship starts and ends? Or is there like hugging, kissing, touching, like all these other things that make up a good sexual experience, conversation, connection, like all these other aspects of a sexual experience that make this experience like fun for both of you, right? Which goes beyond like what is the exact thing that is touching someone's body, right? So I think that's one. Like, just we need to broaden that conversation. Again, it's like it all comes down to just focusing on penis and vagina intercourse, right? Like,
Yeah.
you need to broaden that. You need to broaden this one-dimensional idea of what sex looks like. So I think that's one. Then I think the other thing is like, you have to think about how, to the point around, let's say you don't last long in bed, then you are experiencing pleasure. Even if it's 5 minutes long, you're experiencing pleasure. Then how can you help your partner experience pleasure without feeling stress, anxiety, all that performance pressure that comes with having to stay erect for really long periods of time, etc., etc. Right? And so I think there's so many advantages to bringing toys into the bedroom, but people aren't able to talk about it, and people have these misconstrued ideas of what a sexual experience can look like.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just a very narrow definition. I don't know if I have like a sciencey psychology answer for you, but
No,
I think
it
that's-
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does make a lot of sense. The orgasm gap in India, there's been a bunch of research around this also. I think
Yeah.
Durex had released a study that said 70% of women have never experienced orgasm versus 70% of men have.
yeah.
Whether be it by themselves or with a partner or with multiple. But and that does indicate that, assuming that a lot of sex is having with the partner, men are not prioritizing their partner's pleasure. They're not really thinking about, hey, I got mine, did they get theirs, to put it
Yeah.
in simple terms.
Yeah.
So it makes complete sense that that's a part of it, and I
And
think
it-
we need to change that.
Man, it runs deep Like my response to people is always like, oh, like, you know, a lot of people will come to me, they say, how do I make someone orgasm? I'm like, oh, it depends on your partner. You should ask your partner questions, you know, like ask them what they like. So then someone came back to me and was like, oh, but my partner doesn't know what she likes. How, you know, she's not telling me like what she likes. What do I do now?
Yep.
I'm like, dude, we gotta unlearn so much. Because like, think about it, that gap is also like a masturbation gap. It's a lack of exploration of our bodies gap. It's us being told like vaginas are gross, do not touch, do not go close. They are not meant for pleasure.
But there's also layers to it. Nah? There's the layer at which you yourself need
You
to know
yourself
what you
need
do.
to know.
Then you have to be okay communicating
You have to
it.
be okay owning that you want pleasure.
Yeah.
That in itself is so taboo. Like either you're a god or you're a slut. Like there's no goddess. Sorry, goddess and slut. There's no like in between or simultaneity that exists there, right?
Yeah, it's so true about what you say that we don't understand our bodies and we think our private parts are gross, because that association happens a lot. Like when you're a kid only, like it's like, oh, don't touch that. Instead of being like, if you're feeling that way, then you need to do it privately and not in front of people. So you're not creating that association that if you touch yourself, you are gross. You shouldn't be doing that, and it's like a slap, right? So that is like the beginning of someone recognizing that, oh, this is a feeling. I don't understand it, but I have the need to.
But come on, we're told from like a small age, oh, boys are going to look at you like this. Boys are sexual.
Yeah.
Boys are so horny.
Yeah.
And if anyone else experiences those feelings or emotions, it's like, oh, there must be something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Why am I feeling like this? Right?
Yeah, because pure.
You're not
It's like
pure.
Being a pure woman was like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it comes down to like, am I allowed to experience pleasure? Okay, fine. Let's say I have accepted that I'm allowed to experience pleasure. Am I able to communicate with my partner? A lot of times people go on that journey of exploration. No shame. Like if you've never masturbated, never touched yourself, maybe you will do that exploration with your partner. That's also okay. But then both partners have to create an environment where it's a feedback loop. I call it like you need to do it before, during, and after. All three. Like it needs to be before, like let's plan, let's talk about what might be sexy for you. What do we need? Do we need something to help us? And then during, you're like checking in. Hey, does that feel good? Should I go faster, slower, harder, wetter, drier? You know, whatever it might be, different part of your body, etc. And then after, debrief. Was it good? You know, like, do you want to do something?
What didn't you
What
like?
did you like?
Or even just cuddling. Just that aftercare, I feel, is very important, right? Like some people like to cuddle, some people like to be left alone, but even having that conversation of
what does
what do
intimacy
you-
look
yeah.
like? Yeah. What makes you feel cared for? Maybe I don't want to cuddle, but you know, I can get you a glass of water.
Yeah.
Like that was intense. You
Yeah.
know?
Or tissues.
Tissues. Yes. Don't look at your phone right after. Like maybe that's something that like makes someone feel less seen.
Yeah.
You know, it could be anything.
Speaking about men and their pleasure also, something we found is women on average, so far at least in our experience, tend to know a little bit more about props and items that they can add to their repertoire and what different products can do for them. On average, they know about them a lot more than men. But men have a lot of interest in these products. They don't know what products are out there, how these products are different, how they can help them. And most of all, they do not know how to use them. What does the spectrum out there look like? I know we know because we've done some research around this. Of course, we have some products in this arena, but what's out there? How can these products help men?
So I think if we're talking about like specifically massagers and such, like genital stimulation, there's a very wide range. And I also like want to break away a little bit from the binary of like penis toys, vagina toys, right? Like, because I think sometimes people don't realize that like a vibrator, which works for a vagina or vulva, can also be really fun with a penis, with a with testicles near the perineum. There's like some penetrative toys which could be used anally as well. So I think this gender segregation of toys is a little bit arbitrary in a lot of ways. But having said that, like recognize for cis men, penis toys tend to like be the most exciting or most obvious choice, right? And so I think you get like cock rings, you get things which you can use during intercourse with someone with a vulva or anus. You get strokers and things which you can use like to stimulate the penis on its own. There's quite a wide range.
Yeah. Alright, I know that some of y'all are here to see who won the giveaway that we had announced on our Musings podcast Instagram handle. So, the winners are Mayuri Agarwal, Poras Matre, and Sampada. Your handles are going to be in the text over here, and we'll see you next time.
We have a question that someone actually specifically asked to get an opinion from you. So, I learned the word today.
I believe in you.
Vaginismus. Right? I'm suddenly feeling way too hot. But no, a lot of people struggle with penetration. And like you said, men don't often talk about delays or being erect, not being able to get erect.
Yeah.
A lot of women have fear about not being able to comfortably have penetration, and they don't talk about it. I don't think it's a conversation that happens.
It's actually one of those things which people assume is the norm.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's so normalized that it's not something to be like, why is this happening? People just assume that like sex is supposed to be painful. Right? So it's almost like an opposite problem.
Yeah, I guess that's
where
what
there's
you're
too
told.
much conversation around pain to the point that you don't question it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone with vaginismus.
Or potentially with vaginismus. They did ask.
Yeah, they weren't sure themselves, but they said that they spoke to their girlfriends, and most of them feel like that pain is normal, especially the first few times that they do get intimate. So, what does a solution look like for something like this, or someone having this experience?
That's a good question. And I think it's so case by case, right? Why someone might be experiencing pain can vary from like dryness, lack of arousal. It could also be like something short term. It could be an infection. But it could also be vaginismus. Vaginismus is one of the reasons that someone might experience pain. And as I'm thinking about like various types of pain and stuff like that, I always tell people like, you want to ideally try like the few basic interventions you can try on your own. And then I would encourage people to go see a professional about it. There are sexual health practitioners, there are vaginismus programs and coaches you can speak with. If this is something you are experiencing all the time, long term, because the reasons for that, the causes can be quite varied. For some people, it can be pelvic floor issues. For some people, it could be also something that is psychological. So these programs are designed to help you looking at multiple aspects of the issue, right? And pain is psychological. So like that is another important thing to remember, that it's all happening in your brain. Anytime you feel pain, it's happening in your brain. Right? Okay, but that aside, that's saying that like, if this is something that you go on experiencing, speak to a professional. But at a basic level, a lot of like common mistakes people make that can lead to pain. One is a lack of complete arousal. So what happens is we are so familiar with like penis grows big hard, right? During arousal. What we're not familiar with is vagina elongates, stretches. It can really become so much larger than it typically is just at rest, right? Now, we also talked about arousal non-concordance. So I'm saying arousal and then this happens, but it doesn't always happen, even if you are aroused. But yes, in an ideal world, like that is what happens. So appropriate amount of arousal would include lots of stimulation, not actually inside the vagina, but around the clitoris, around outside. It could be the sides, it could be the general pelvic area. It could also be stimulation to other parts of the body. Nipples, I don't know, where someone feels pleasure, any erogenous zone, right? Like
Foreplay is your friend.
foreplay is your friend. That's a nice way to put it. I also say foreplay is sex, right? But
100% agree.
yeah, that's all the different parts of sex that yeah. So anyway, arousal, really, really important. Can help dramatically. I think the reason I say this is also a lot of times people go straight for penetration or straight for the penis and vagina intercourse without spending a lot of time. Spend more time than you think you would spend. Then the other thing is, I would say start small. Like see if a finger is comfortable first. Or a thin toy or something like that, right? Like, is that comfortable? If you're comfortable with that, then try something larger.
So you have to build your way to feeling comfortable.
Potentially,
Yeah.
right? Like, especially if it's your first time. This may not always be the case for everyone. Some
Yeah.
people are actually ready to go the moment
Yeah.
they start.
Yeah.
But if you are experiencing discomfort, things like that, then these are some steps you can take. Lubricants, another one. So dryness causes pain a lot of times. So, adding lubricant, depending on the type of intercourse you're having. So if it's with toys, water-based applies
Works
to all
everywhere, yeah.
situations. But also you can explore a silicone-based lube if you want something that's longer lasting and condom friendly, or an oil-based lube if you're having sex without a condom. Yeah. So then lubricant can help as well. But if you're still experiencing pain, then see someone, because it could be an infection, it could be something longer term.
Nice. Thanks, Karishma. I think, this has been wonderful.
Yeah. We feel like this, again, like I said, I feel like it's a lot of education.
Are you saying this is the talk you never got?
Oh, nice. That was very satisfying. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you have going on, work-related, that people can look forward to?
Absolutely. So, of course, primarily where I work is Instagram. Follow me on Talk You Never Got. I'm also present on all platforms at Talk You Never Got, but main work is on Instagram. I'm also going to be launching a newsletter really soon. So stay tuned.
I'ma sign up.
for some long form text content. Remember when we used to read? Because I don't. I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Amazing. Okay, we like to say bye by
We
coming
wanna-
together.
We have a hamper.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Just gonna send you without your goodies?
What?
How dare?
This is really coffee with Karan, isn't it?
That's where we got it from. We were like,
I didn't even have to win a quiz. There was no competition.
Said no to everything. Okay, this is for you. I hope you enjoy everything that's inside.
This is so heavy.
yeah, we make sure
There's
we stock it.
Wow. Sending
us
you
know.
all my
Yeah.
love and good
vibes.
I see what you did now. I see it.
You're gonna find a lot of good vibes in
This
there,
is
don't worry.
so unnecessary. Thank you so much.
It's nothing for how much education you've given everyone today about Kayla and
Okay,
about
I wish
talent.
all every time I spoke about sex, someone came with a
They're like,
present.
thank you for
Keep
your
coming back. We'll keep giving you stuff.
I'm ready.
Right, cool.
All
we have a
right.
tradition here where we say bye like this.
Bye bye.
Bye guys. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, bell icon, all that.
You know
stuff.
what to do now. Just do it.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Yay. What would be super interesting is if we talked about have our parents ever caught us doing anything nasty?
Like, I don't remember me telling my parents that I had a boyfriend in college. I think they knew.
My dad opened my laptop to do some work. All these photos just popped up. My mom was like, we need to sit and talk. And it's me, my dad, and my mom.
And you
And
laughed
I'm
at
like breathing heavy. I'm like, What are they going to say?
Oh wow, we got both.
Various thicknesses and sizes. Yes, you have your pick. Whatever
Yeah,
you
and,
wanna
and let's bring some lube too. Like we gotta show them how it's done.
Hell yeah! Bring some
I'm so
lube,
excited
boy.
for this episode. I'm so excited for the ban on this episode.
We gonna be shadow.
No, so
band.
see,